Lessons that I have learned in putting together these programs here. And let me also say that Richard Matthew and Brian McDonald have been advisors to a lot of the work that we're doing here. And also let me say, because you may be a future customer of ours, alumni get a discount on tuition at UCI Extension. How many of you are familiar with UCI Extension, know what it is? A lot of people don't know what UCI Extension is, but we are the continuing education arm of the university here. We provide a university-level training experiences and education. For adult students, our main population is usually 30 years of age and older, up to 50 and even 60. For people who are looking for ways to retrain themselves, to advance their career, to enhance their career, or to even change a career. And all of our courses and our programs are UC vetted, so the instructors are all UC vetted and the curriculum is UC vetted, and in many ways we do extend the university into the community. We have 35,000 enrollments each year. We have 41 professional development certificates, and a professional development certificate is 150 hours of study or more. We also have 32 of them fully online. 20 specialized studies programs, which are a little bit smaller, and in 2008, 2009, we awarded over 1,400 certificates at our annual graduation ceremony. So I like to say again that in the truest sense of the phrase, Extension extends the university into the community. Again, our student body is really people that, for whatever reason, can't go back to school, don't want to go back to school. There may not be a degree in that area that they're looking for. And anecdotally, we say at University Extension, come from your ears, the degree will get you the interview, the certificate will get you the job. Because certificates often are very practically oriented, they're grounded in research, they're grounded in academics that are happening here at the university, but they're very up to date, they're very applicable to an actual working environment. And in fact, I hear from many potential employers and they say, you know, well, we really can't find people who understand the theory and the application. And so I know that at Extension, one of our goals is to really give you the application. What do I do with this stuff? How do I apply it? I also hear from potential employers that when they're hiring you guys, they're trying to find people who understand, again, theory and application and know how it all works together. So keep that in the back of your mind for the future if you're looking to brush up. If you're looking to get some up-to-date information that can aid you in your own career development, we're the guys for you. Again, we have the capacity and the capability to bridge research that's happening here on campus, and we really, I try to keep up to date on what CUSA is doing, what Newkirk is doing, Environmental Institute, many of the academic units as well, and again, bridge that to a professional community. And we work very strongly with strategic partnerships, and we certainly have a mechanism and an infrastructure to move forward. So what is sustainability? We were talking about this a little bit this evening before you guys came in, and many of us are very familiar with this definition here, and we really take this to heart at the Extension programs. But I also like this definition as well, that sustainability provides a framework for humans to live and prosper in harmony with nature rather than at nature's expenses, protecting, regenerating rather than degrading something. Everything that we care about, a growing economy, human well-being, security, food, safety, transportation, buildings, energy, is comprised, undermined, or lessened by environmental degradation. So I think that's really true. You know, what I've also found, because I've been around long enough, is that environmental awareness isn't necessarily new. In fact, when I was putting together the program about 3 years ago, I found a lot of people would say to me, oh yeah, I've heard of that, I used to do that. I was at the very first Earth Day in 1970. I remember that when I was probably about your age or so. But in our country, we do have a strain of thought that is environmentally aware and conscious. I also was raised on the Chesapeake Bay in Virginia, and I remember in the 60s my father talked about the oyster beds that were dying in the Chesapeake Bay. And that was something that I was raised with and understood, so it's always been a part of my emotional makeup and my professional expertise, and also my personal interest as well. So then what's business got to do with it? You know, I have worked in the corporate community for a number of years before I came to UCI. In fact, I worked for Bank of America in 1984 and 85 or something. And, you know, I worked in the corporate philanthropy department. I think I'd be a banker, but it didn't work out for me at all. And at that particular point in time, corporate social responsibility meant just a couple of very basic things. At the bank, we had a philanthropic foundation that gave money to nonprofit organizations to do really nice things. We had senior executives in the bank that would sit on board of directors of nonprofit organizations because that got them closer to the community. And we had volunteer groups. And the volunteer groups would go out and do good things. March of Dimes, Race for the Cure, and that was about it. Because business said, we have no role to play in corporate social responsibility. There's nothing there for us. However, I think that has changed. You know, and a lot of things I think have changed over the past 20, 30, or 40 years or so as well. So I like this particular quote also. I'm sure you all know green to gold. Historically, corporate interest in the environmental area tends to rise and fall. But this time seems different. More and more companies have come to see opportunities for growth and profit through a focus on sustainability. And I know that as I started to develop some programs at UCI Extension, I look for two basic things. And businesses are coming to me and say, how do we make money? How do we save money? Quickly, we know that there are some big drivers in sustainability in a very grand scale. World population, it's getting hotter, flatter, and crowded. Of course, we know that as well. Climate change, oil, legislation, as I like to say, is certainly driving the train down the track. And a metaphor that I often use is that train is coming down the track pretty fast. And for a lot of us, we're laying the track as the train is coming down the track. So at Extension, we have several different professional development programs that we offer. Sustainability Leadership, which is an overarching program. I have a program in sustainable buildings that looks at energy efficiency. Developing a new program right now on community planning and development, which bridges urban planning, architecture, looks at SB 375, all of those things as well. Certainly environmental management, facilities management, and light construction. And kind of an interesting thing here, when I started to develop these programs a couple of years ago, 3 years ago to be exact, no one knew what the word sustainability meant. Everybody knew green. Oh yeah, I kind of get that. I know what that's about. But a lot of people didn't even know what it meant. Now, and as one of my colleagues has said tonight, a lot has changed and a lot has been moving forward, but I find that very interesting. You were talking about a couple of years ago, you had to convince people. You don't have to do that anymore, which is really kind of exciting. In grand sum there, extension programs, what we try to do is provide an interdisciplinary approach, integrating sustainability and environmentalism with business management strategy to achieve corporate social responsiveness. And a couple of things I want to point out here. Interdisciplinary. We were talking about this before you guys all came in today, and that sustainability really does seem, and it very truly is, interdisciplinary. When I talk to employers and they're looking to hire somebody, they say, you know, I can find someone who understands the finance of triple bottom line, but they don't have a clue about legislation. I can find someone who knows about legislation and AB 32 and SB 375. They don't know what a marketing campaign is and how to integrate that with our corporate strategy. So what's really intriguing is that as you continue in your academic career here at the university, another question that Richard asked us beforehand is, what can you do? Do anything you can do. Do all that you can do. Learn. Go to seminars. Go to courses. Question your professors. Talk to them. Talk to other people that help you network into the business community to find a job when you get out of here. Again, it's about integrating, it's about a systems perspective. I know in most of my programs here, what we're really trying to do, and I think you guys are ahead of this already, is that we are trying to help teach a systematic way of thinking. Now, my colleague also here was talking about thinking, and thinking influences behavior. And I know in many of these programs here, what we're trying to do is to educate and aware people, and I think you have a head start on a lot of that, about how it is all connected together, and how to actually change your perceptions and your attitudes, which ultimately change your behavior. I'm a social psychologist, and when I first got involved in this, I thought, you know, I just have an anecdotal experience from being at Earth Day 40 years ago. But when I came to understand, and that what we try to instill in all of our programs, is that sustainability, I think for me, at its essence, is truly about changing an attitude and a perception. And once you change that, then you can change behavior. And again, it's about integrating into strategy. When in the business world, we talk a lot about strategy. That's very important. And I really am using the word more and more now of responsiveness. I know the general term is corporate social responsibility, but I find myself using the word responsiveness because for me, when you say responsibility, it implies that it's all their fault and all of the solutions are up to them. And having worked in the corporate community, that's not the way that they understand it. However, business and the corporate community can respond, can have a responsiveness to the issue at hand that is appropriate for their market share, for their type of business, for their global positioning, their finance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what I've also found really interesting is that I have yet to meet a business executive who doesn't want to save money or who doesn't want to make money. And so by taking this integrated approach, this interdisciplinary approach, which changes your thinking, your perceptions, and your behavior, you really get to integrate a strategy. And I know from talking to many employers, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for thinkers. They're looking for people who get it and know how to then do it. We have people that are coming to our programs literally from around the world. All of my programs at UCI Extension are online. We have all of California covered. I have students coming from international areas of London, of New Delhi, many of the estates here. And it's very intriguing. I even have younger students, maybe such as yourself, that are doing all their coursework on their iPhone. So technology is here. Technology is making a lot of things possible that we may not have been aware of before. And what's really interesting about using the benefits of technology is that we're creating truly a global community of like-minded thinkers here. And that's coming out of UCI. So, again, what I'm finding is that many people have a misperception about what online education is. I'm not going to go into that right now, but suffice it to say that technology, and you guys know this, you know, you're using your technology all the time, is a really efficient way of increasing your knowledge base. Just a real quick snapshot to give you just an idea of sort of the things that we do. In spring 2010, I'm offering a couple of courses online. Green supply chain, energy retrofits, the green building by the line there, developing sustainable planned communities. In summer of 2010, I'm offering us a couple of other programs as well. Particularly one that I'm interested in is the bottom one here. We are actually going to be doing a global sustainability leadership workshop on campus. It is a residential program, and it is targeted primarily to international business professionals, but I might also add it's open also to domestic people in the United States as well. I like to call it a boot camp, a sustainability boot camp where you get the highs and the lows and everything kind of in between here. But what we're trying to do is, again, extend UCI into a global market. Looking ahead, just real quickly, I'm almost at the very end here, a number of other programs that I'm developing in UCI Extension, transportation. We know that water is a big issue, security, of course, civil engineering, food. Food is a very big issue. There's no lack of areas that need a sustainable approach. So thank you for your time. I think I kept it to time there. And I think we're now going to move into our panel discussion. All right, but thanks.